Hunter Biden's legal team asked a judge this week to issue subpoenas to Donald Trump, Bill Barr, and Jeffrey Rosen because, according to Hunter Biden's attorneys, they have reason to believe, based on available evidence, that the entire prosecution that Hunter Biden is going through right now is in fact politically motivated. Now, when I first saw this story, I was going to talk about it, and I was going to talk about the fact that this is very stupid. That in this instance, Hunter Biden and his legal team are sounding exactly like Donald Trump. That is what I was originally going to say until I started digging into this story. And it made me realize something. I'll give you the facts of the story in a minute, but I want to talk about kind of just the evolution of my thinking on this. When I first saw this, of course, it's reminiscent of everything Donald Trump has said with all of the prosecutions against him, right? Like, this was politically motivated. You were trying to take out your political opponent. How dare you look at me? You know, this is all a persecution. And here in the headlines, it's like, oh my God, Hunter Biden's doing the same thing. This is ridiculous. But then I realized Donald Trump has effectively desensitized us to those claims. Because he has lied about it so many times, I automatically assumed, right, that, oh, somebody else is saying it, clearly they're lying too. That's what Trump has done to me. And I'm sure he's done it to a lot of people too, that automatically when you hear somebody say those things that he says, you're like, okay, well, they're lying. But in this particular instance, I got to tell you, once you actually look at the facts here, Hunter Biden's lawyers may actually have a pretty good case. The problem is, they're in front of a judge that was appointed by Donald Trump, so good luck getting that judge to issue these subpoenas. But here it is. According to the complaint they filed, they said, quote, certain instances that appear to suggest incessant, improper, and partisan pressure applied by Donald Trump to then Attorney General William Barr and Jeffrey Rosen and Richard Donoghue. Of course, the cases were not brought during Donald Trump's administration. The investigations began in 2018 while Trump was president. Bill Barr was attorney general. Jeff Rosen was, of course, the deputy. So the charges did not come until this year. But the investigation did, of course, begin under Donald Trump. The lawyers then go on to say that there are things that came up during the January 6th committee hearings that indicate this is a politically motivated prosecution. So they're actually using evidence. They talk about the fact that Donald Trump has made comments in speeches that indicate this was politically motivated. And they cite passages from Bill Barr's book that suggest this prosecution is politically motivated. So here I was ready to dismiss it right off the bat because I just assumed they were borrowing the language from Trump. But luckily I decided to look more into it and look at their filing. And yeah, I think they've got a case. I think they got a damn good case. Now, that doesn't absolve Hunter Biden of the things he allegedly did, right? I mean, you know, it's kind of obvious that he probably did those things, but that then raises the question that even if a prosecution were politically motivated, does that taint the entire prosecution if you find criminal activity? I don't know the answer to that. And I don't think legal scholars really know the answer to that either. You know, this was technically, even if it was improper political pressure, you still got to find, okay, well, it was improper pressure, but they didn't, you know, do anything illegal to launch the investigation, and then they found stuff. So I don't know how this plays out, but I do think obviously it would be a big win for the Biden family if they're able to prove that this were politically motivated. You know, even if Hunter Biden did the things he's accused of doing, if you prove it's politically motivated in the eyes of the public, that may be a big win for Biden, even if he ultimately still gets convicted. Ring of Fire has fresh content 7 days a week, so if you want to be reminded about it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell to be notified every time a new video goes up.